Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about studio monitors. So let's dive right into it. Now, first thing we have to understand about audio is that audio is kind of weird thing because basically if you make it good, nobody's gonna tell you, hey, that movie had good audio, hey, that video had a good audio. But if you make it bad, every Tom, Dick and Harry is gonna remind you of that. So you can literally have a best YouTube video out there, but if the audio is bad, every Tom, Dick and Harry will focus on that. And you can easily notice that like people who master it incorrectly or copy files from somewhere else is like, dude, it's I can only hear audio in left channel or right channel or whatever have you. So you get that point. And what happens if you make it really good, like audio mixing is really done well, is that people will start to feel it rather than like basically, oh, the audio was good. That simply means it's okay. But if somebody is like, I felt it, that's the point. That's the mark that people want to achieve. Basically, if you are watching a movie, an emotional scene is happening and music is supporting it, you will start to feel it. And people have done that. Like you can easily watch people's reacting inside a theater, and you can sometimes you watch like people who capture those sort of things. You will notice that music beats are happening and people are responding to that music beat, and that is the point of where people like instead of listening to music, they started to feel it. That's like rare as hell, but that's one of the amazing thing. And because of this odd nature of this puppy, it's very easy to overlook. Like at this point in time, it's still we are utilizing very old audio equipment for basically audio protocol for a Bluetooth headset. That's why like if you ever try to record audio from a basically call, the receive call, you'll be like, why the heck it's so bad? We are still using old systems. Like people ignore it. Now why do we have to use what we call studio monitors rather than normal playback devices? You have to understand, each company that is in the market that is trying to sell you something, they have what we call USP, unique selling point, or they try to be. So think of it this way, what they are trying to give you is non-flat. They are giving you a colored audio. What does that mean? That simply means if let's say you had a frequency generator and that it created a amplitude sound, basically let's say 10, just go with that 10, and it was like 20 hertz 10, 21 hertz 10, 22 hertz. If it keeps going to 22 kilohertz, you like if you are sending it 10, you expect the output, let's say you had a microphone on the receiving end, the output should be flat. But here's the deal, you will not get that. But you will get like, hey, things that are more reinforced towards base, it will reach, let's say, due to inefficiencies, it will reach 9 on the basically low end. But the moment you start to go on the higher end, the frequency response will drop and you will be like only getting 6 or 7. So you will have what we call colored audio. Basically, a flat response is not there. So if your audio file, basically a music file or movie file, even though it says like, hey, boost the treble, if the audio is colored, it will not represent properly. So that's the whole point of it. And many companies will try to give you bass boost. Like Sony is very well known for that, like extra bass boost and all that jazz. And some companies are very well known for a good treble. Some companies are really well known for vocals, clarity in vocals. So things of this nature are very common among almost every playback devices. You're not gonna find a single playback device where people like, you know what, that playback device is really flat. Nobody does that. And the primary reason for that is any music system, any sound system, sound bar or whatever have you, should feel good. You are paying for it. And this is one thing you have to understand that comes up in photography, videography, or almost everything that has like a bit of art to it. It's like you don't want your thing to be technically accurate. You can literally go to NASA, it's like, hey, can you make me a camera lens that's like the most awesome out there? They can make it, but the moment you show it to other people, are like, dude, I don't want to use this lens. Like there have been issues where people have to put filters on top of their lenses just to make it blurry, because if it's too sharp, it starts to show you too many skin defects. Nobody wants to. It's like not every model is 19-year-old. It's like if you have to take photograph of a model or a movie star that is like, let's say 25 years old, yeah, good luck with that. We have lenses that are so fast, like, dude, you had a pimple here, like, in this section you had a pimple like 5 years ago. So you have to understand that. Same goes with audio. You want the company, basically the music device or whatever have you, headphone or whatever have you, should take care of it. It's like, dude, I don't want to listen to like a mix, let's say improperly mixed or like a flat mix or something like that. I don't have to give a damn about it. Just make me feel good. So company take it onto their own hand, and that is why we have an independent market segment known as studio monitors. This segment is completely different from normal playback devices. Now, same company can be making a normal playback devices, or let's say Yamaha can be making, hey, normal speakers or normal, and then they also make studios, basically studio monitors. The primary reason for that is like studio monitors being so expensive and like a different category is because it takes a lot of R&D. Simply because if you are familiar with audio equipment, you know there is no speaker you can make that can represent all of the from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. It's not gonna happen. That's why we have subwoofer, woofer, tweeter. That's why, like, you bare minimum you need 3, and some cases you can easily have as high as like 5 systems, just to make sure each basically band of the spectrum is represented clearly without interference from other spectrum. So fundamentally speaking, that to achieve that, like even with 2 or even with just 1, that will take a lot of R&D. And not to mention the enclosure, the boxes that they go around, they also have to be fine-tuned in such a way so it's resonating properly. So it's like, okay, bass is boosted but not too boosted to a point where it starts to overpower other aspects. So you get the point. It takes a lot of R&D. You can easily take, hey, Yamaha normal, and it's like, hey, both are using same driver, but just by the engineering of the electronics, engineering of the chassis, all those things can add up a lot of cost. So just from looks, do not go for like, why the heck it's so expensive. That's the primary reason. The R&D, if the company is not trolling you, they would have spent a lot of money into making what we call flat response. And second, a company is not expected to sell a lot of them, because it's like, it's not made for common public, and flat out many people will say, hey, you know what, it does not sound good. So this is almost like how you can have a photograph that is taken from a DSLR, really good photograph, like accurate, absolute realistic, and the first thing people will is like, hey, can you boost up the weirdness? Again, you are not giving a damn about the technical reality of, you want it to feel good. Now if you are making an audio track, if you are the music production division, basically you are working behind the scene, that's not acceptable. You do not want your audio to color the system for you, because if you have a colored audio receiving device, basically your playback device was coloring the audio, and you compensated for that in your master would be out of sync. It will be complete color. That's why like every video work also required video calibration. Screen has to be calibrated. Same goes for audio. That's why people have to utilize what we call studio monitors, and really good quality ones that are like, used by industry professionals. They cost a lot, like an arm and leg. An iPhone starts to look cheap. That's how expensive they are. And what they are trying to achieve, basically all these companies that are trying to make them, they are trying to achieve what we call sonic neutrality. So basically, if you have a signal generator, you send the sound, it will match it exactly how it's supposed to. It will try its best to give you a flat response. So if you make a music file mix and you like, tweak it in such a way, the speaker will not compensate for it, not tamper with it. It's like, okay, this is what you did. That is why it is very independent marketplace from normal public marketplace, and it has to be like this way. Otherwise you won't even know. Like people have like horror stories where they're like, dude, I mixed this audio track and it was sounding awesome in my studio, and the moment I gave it to someone, it's like, dude, what is this garbage? It happens because the audio equipment on either of end could be messed up. But if you have good, reliable, calibrated studio monitors, you can be like, dude, your system is messed up. And generally why they are a bookshelf like stereo system is like, they give you what we call stereo imaging. Now this is very difficult to achieve on headphones. Now you're like, wait a minute, don't we have left and right independent? Shouldn't it be awesome? Well, here's the sole reason we can achieve stereo imaging of sound in human brain is that both of the ear listens to the same tracks. For example, there is a person here talking, the audio waves coming, it will receive on this and also this. Now because of the delay, brain will compensate, okay, that means the audio is coming from here or here or here or here. You get the point. Like, because my ears are listening sound from both, basically both ears. But if you have a headphone, this sound will not bounce back to the ear. So there is no stereo imaging. Now there are ways to compensate for it. There are ways to master an audio just for headphones, but not that many movie tracks or system is actually mastered for that. You will get the point. Like very few Blu-rays will have that, like, mastered for headphones and all that. Just very few. So that's the reality of it. That is the reason why you'll always have two speakers, and people will flat out tell you, do not keep them close to each other. Like, you have to be far apart, and you have to be sitting exactly in dead center of it. These things are very necessary to make a good sound stage. Like, without having a good sound stage, you will not have a, like, you will have like that basic kind of stereo separation where it's like, oh, I can listen to audio to go from where. You won't feel like, okay, that's here, that's here, but that's here. That's the thing. That's why studio monitors are completely different ball. Then we come to the core aspect of it. It's a bit of art plus science. It's not just scientifically accurate. I'm gonna give you a most accurate noise generator out there. It's like, or if this speaker like plays it properly, it's like absolutely awesome. It's like, maybe that's not what you're looking for, because there is a bit of art to it. Now, sound at the end of the day, if it basically meets expectation, you're not supposed to hear it at the end of the day. You're supposed to feel it, and that's why inherently we human like bassy sounds. Inherently, because we feel it. It's like, like big boom sounds. You're like, whoa, I felt it. Like, that's why there is like such a big craze for giant, big ass, huge ass subwoofers. I'm not even kidding. Like, there are subwoofers that are like 10 inches or 20 inches, and people are like, that's a basic subwoofer. I'm like, are you kidding me? But that's the whole point. You're supposed to feel it. Now, there is another aspect of it. You may find sometimes where it's like, just to give you a rough example of that, you can find like there are music tracks, be it techno, be it some other kind of tracks, which are like mixed. It has too much volume in it. Like, you know, if you put it into a audio system, it's like the levels are almost reaching zero dB. Now, it's hot signal, what we call it. But here's the deal: if you have a movie that's completely mastered like that, it will be fatiguing to hear. It's like literally you will get tired. You won't even know. It won't be like your ears are hurting, but you will get tired. It's like, and you can easily notice that in movies, that's all levels they're trying to, like, you know, raise it up, bring it down, raise it up, bring it down. People who are doing just random stuff, they're like, just boost it up as much as you can. You never want to do that. You never want to just like bring it up, bring it down. You have to do that. So just to make sure your ears are not fatigued. Then we have common issues with people deal with is like, you know, too many details, like too many goddamn details, which translates to like your feels painful to hear. Like techno music, that's why it's not so many people like it. It's like, dude, it's too much. Like it has like 68 layers of instrument placed on top, which is like your brain is trying to filter each other out. It's getting tired, it's fatiguing. Then you have to understand aspect of it, like you may not have ears for it. I was like, what the hell that's supposed to mean? It's like you can teach every Tom, Dick and Harry to draw, does not mean they can become Da Vinci or great painters of our time. Same thing goes for audio. You can literally teach anyone, is like, hey, this is how audio is mixed, does not mean they can make a or mix a system where every Tom, Dick and Harry is going to fail. There is a bit of do you have ears for it aspect to it. So this was my presentation on basically studio monitors. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.